Do you scare easy?
No.
Ever have nightmares?
Not for a long time.
Be the bed.
No way!
Okay, if you're telling the truth. I want to tell you a story, but you gotta promise not to tell Daddy or Mommy. Can you do that?
I promise.
All right. Well, the story takes place in a town called Lakefield back in the 19th century. It was a small town, a coal mining town, but life was good there. Now, if you need me to explain something, don't be afraid to ask me to stop.
I will, Papa.
All right. For a while, this town is booming because they're digging all kinds of coal out of the side of the mountain. And things were going along pretty good until there was this story about a troll that lived in the forest outside of the town. And they say if you caught this troll, he'd have to grant you a wish.
3 wishes?
No, 1 wish. After a while, the story starts spreading like wildfire, and people are saying that they saw the troll. Now, some of these people, they're lying. Few of them were hallucinating, and maybe most of them, well, they just wanted some attention. Usually, a story is mostly harmless. Kids in the town started talking about a magical troll that lived in a hill. Not long after that, people started disappearing, and people that had said they'd seen the troll were mysteriously found dead. Lots of people were missing. Search parties were formed, and they scoured every inch of woods and hillside, but found nothing. Some of the well-to-do families put their money together and hired a team from New York City. Specialists. It really hurt the sheriff's pride, but he wrote the letter to these specialists himself. He put a lot of thought into every word. Legend says on that day, he cracked open a bottle and drank whiskey for the first time. He was used to dealing with drunks and mining disputes. Try as he might, he couldn't solve it. The postmaster picked up the letter that day, and it started its journey north on a private carriage.
Thinking we'll find the sheriff right up here. We should talk to him first.
A few weeks went by with no word, but one day they came. They took the job and half the money up front. First thing they did was speak to some of the people in town. One of them had to know something. After all, it couldn't really be a troll, right?
Excuse me, if I can ask you a few questions. So for the sheriff, you're the postmaster around here. I'm looking for these 2 individuals. Well, take a look at them.
The theory was that Lakefield had a murderer running wild. Having no luck in town, the pair headed off into the woods. The first was a world-famous tracker and detective named Orville Jackson. He was very unorthodox.
Papaw, what's unorthodox?
Strange, unusual. Another funny thing about Orville was that the man loved fig bars. They said he was always eating the things. He even got the nickname Newton. His partner was an English lady named Mabel Keller.
Have you found anything yet?
No.
She was an explorer, a survivalist, and a cartographer.
Maybe you've lost the plot.
This way. Try to keep up.
Easy for you to say.
They tracked further and further into the woods. Orville never seemed to mind getting dirty. He'd crawl around on his knees and dig with his hands. He left no stone unturned. But then you had Mabel. She was more particular about where she would search. I've heard that she was afraid of spiders. But I think she just had a sixth sense for clues and didn't need to search everything. Mabel and Orville searched for 3 days and 3 nights. They were beaten down and running out of supplies. That forest had no mercy. The weary explorers had no choice but to return to Lakefield with what energy they could muster. They never found the troll, and they never found any of the missing people. 0, zip, nada, nothing. So they gave the sheriff back the money, tucked tail, and took a train back to New York City.
What happened to them?
They went home. Orville made a lot of money in the stock market. I heard he died in the fall. And no one knows about Mabel.
In Lakefield?
Well, time and fortune were not kind to Lakefield. They dug up all the coal and everybody left. Everybody stopped talking about the troll.
That's it?
That's it. The end.
Your wish.